A very good morning to everyone. So, as myself, I am Dr. S. V. R. Kumar Adagandra, from CSCAML and Incharge in accuracy. So, welcome you all for the day 5 of our FDP on outcome-based education, teaching pedagogies, and AI-enabled teaching, learning, and research. So, today I am going to be discuss about pedagogy to productivity. So, I am not directly jumping into the AI. So first we should clearly understand why these particular AI tools are really necessary, because we are transforming our education. So traditional teaching to the digital learning to the AI enabled teaching. So this transformation, why it is required, and what is the importance of AI tools in this particular era. So these things I am going to be discussed. So my topic I have designed like this. So the pedagogy to productivity. So followed by the leveraging this particular generative AI. So I'm not going depth into the generative AI architectures and all. First, just I want to give an introduction, because if you want to be learning these tools, first you should understand what are the technologies behind these particular tools. Okay, so how this particular generative AI powered tools effective for the teaching and learning. So I will try to be provide the things regarding to the generative AI based tools. So I'm not going to be covered all the tools, and I'm not going to be promote any of the tools. So that is my disciplinary statement from my side. So I'm not promoting any tool, just I'm showing whatever the tools which I am using, maybe for my teaching learning process or to reduce my work, maybe for the IQAC or as I am working as an earlier about as a HOD at the time. So how these tools are helpful for me, and similarly how these tools that can be used for your day-to-day process. So of course I think many of you are already using these tools, but here I am not going to be tell you how to make use of this particular tool, but I am going to be mainly focusing on the concept called the prompt engineering. The thing I am going to be mainly focus on the concept called the prompt engineering. So if you are knowing about this particular area, prompt engineering, because any tool you take, either that is the ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or whatever the tool you take. So what is the first step you are going to be doing is you should give the proper prompt, right? Similarly, while we are teaching in the class, so that is our delivery, that is our prompt. When you are trying to be pose some question to the student, so if that prompt is not correct way, so the student is unable to be get back to you. Similarly, if the student is unable to be answer it back properly, okay, you expect in some way the student is giving the answer in some other way. So that means you are posing some question to the student. Student is giving you the output. The output is not matching your objective. So that is what I am going to be make you clear. So how best we can give the prompts so that we can take any tools, that means the generative based AI tool or AI enabled tool, any tool you take. So if you properly format your prompt, then automatically maybe you can expect a good output. I am not saying the 100% output, because no AI is not going to be the 100% output, 100% accuracy, because my objective is different, his objective is different, her objective is different, but the content is the same. So depends on the question you formulate, so accordingly it is going to be provide the answer. So before getting into the generative AI enabled tools, first I am going to be shift this paradigm, so pedagogy to the productivity. So here, what we should understand. So first we should understand clearly what is pedagogy. So here I have stated few important points. So pedagogy, practice, AI, productivity, impact. So I am talking about the today's scenario. So what is pedagogy? I think in the first session, Dr. Sridhar sir has given a brief concept on this particular pedagogy. So somewhat I am repeating this particular concept one more time. So what do you mean by pedagogy? See, you are not students, you are like me only, we are all the faculty. So just you should understand the particular concept. What is a pedagogy? What do you mean by pedagogical methods? There are not many methods. There are not many methods which are available. What exactly is the pedagogy? Why we need this pedagogy in the teaching learning process? Pedagogy provides the purpose. So what do you mean by pedagogy? What it provides the purpose? So every day we go to the class, we teach. Okay, students are able to be learn, grab something, and finally they are able to be write the question and they are going to be grab. So this is the day-to-day activity we are doing. So what exactly this particular pedagogy is? So systematically the way you provide the concept, okay, the way you understand the students, the way the students can respond back to you, okay, what are the different assessment strategies you provide during the class time or after the class time. So systematically you should plan your entire curriculum there. So how you are going to be planned? So for that planning, we are having several strategies. So if you want to be go for some tool, in the holidays when you have planned some tools. Okay. So somebody want to be go to the Hyderabad or somebody want to go to Bangalore or somewhere else. So first what you are going to be doing? First, you need to be design your tool plan. Okay. So what are the prerequisites before going for the tool? Okay. While in the traveling, what are the things you are supposed to be do? after reaching the destination, what you are supposed to be do. Okay, so then what is the things you are supposed to be planned in the return journey? So these are the ways we are generally follow. All these are nothing but the pedagogies. Knowingly or unknowingly we are following in the real time. So likewise, when we are going for the class, we should properly plan our activity, how we are able to be teach the students. So that is what the various pedagogical methods we are supposed to be doing. And other important point is the practice. Okay, you are providing the various pedagogical methods, then who are going to be practice all these things, both the teacher as well as the student. So because why the teacher should be practice means if we cannot practice, so how we are going to be better deliver to the students? So first thing is we should practice the content. We should practice these digital learning tools. We should practice the AI-enabled tools. So before we reach the students, first we should aware of all these things. Otherwise, how can we deliver in efficient way to the students? Similarly, the students also. And the third important thing is AI. So AI provides the scale and intelligence. So it is not a replacement, as everybody says. Definitely, it is not a replacement. So it is something like a helping hand to us. AI is a helping hand to us for better understanding the scenario or better understanding the situation or for the better analysis. That is why. So these are the two terms. So it provides the scale and intelligence. So earlier we tried to analyze with our limited data. Now we are analyzing with the multiple content. That means in the large scale. We are in the era of the big data. Okay. So that means we are handling the multiple data. So in big data we deal with the three kinds of the data: structured, semi-structured, unstructured. So structured data generally means what we see in the rows and columns. MS Office, that is in the Excel or MS Access. Everything in the rows and the columns. So definitely where we are able to be fix the data based on the cell numbers. So whereas coming to the semi-structured, okay, that is technically you may not be understood, but unstructured. So unstructured means whatever we are talking, the audio, the video, that means any multimedia content, the logs information. So everything is unstructured. There is no proper structure. Then how we are able to be better process? So nowadays we are seeing. So simply we are giving the YouTube videos and we are trying to be summarize the content. How it is processing? We are giving some vague statement to the AI tools. అది మనకే అర్థం అవుతుంది ఒక్కొక్కసారి బట్ అలాంటి స్టేట్మెంట్ మనం ఏఐకి ఇస్తుంటాం బట్ ఏఐ ఈస్ ఏబుల్ టు బి ప్రాసెస్ దట్ పర్టికులర్ కంటెంట్ అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి గివింగ్ బ్యాక్. It is formulating into the proper way. All these are the some unstructured related data. So this particular AI is able to be process the things. So the AI is something like a helping hand to us. And the next important point is the productivity. So how efficiently we are using these digital learning tools. And similarly, it is connected to the society, that is impact. So you follow your pedagogy, you make students to be practice those things and better utilization of these AI tools. Okay, so that the students are come up with some productive environment by doing anything, not only developing the product. One person can be converted into the entrepreneur, one person can be settled into the a very good job, one person may be converted or developing some kind of a products. So whatever it is, the final option is the impact. It should have impact either in our parents' own life or to the society. So that is what the final outcome. The purpose of the OBE is the final outcome. As I said in the one session, there is difference between the output and outcome. We should understand these differences. Output versus outcome. In the OBE, this is the one of the important scenario. What is the outcome? So the outcome of the graduate, because we are studying the PWOs, PWO1 to PWO12, CEOs, everything we are studying. So at the beginning of the, when the student is joined in the first year, so his outcome, his or her outcome is to be graduating. Graduating means with the BTech or MTech or MBA, whatever the degree is. He should PR help should need to be settled. Settled means in any way, in their interested field. But what is the final output? What is the final output? So what is the percentage that particular person got? Okay. What is the internship that particular person is performed? So finally, in which company he or her placed, whether it is a good one or not, whether whatever the things through the 4 years of the journey he or she learn, whether which are helpful for their next 20 years of the career. So these are all comes linked with the output. Now the current assessments, especially the MBA Tier 1, because we went for the MBA Tier 1 in the previous scenario. Because in the 2025 January 1st onwards, the scenario is being changed, that is completely based on the outcome-based education. And similarly, the bank is changing its remarks, that is also based on the outcome-based education. That means, whatever we do, what is the outcome? Let us say here, around 50 people are there in this seminar hall. So, through the 6 days of the FDP, the new people are attended. So, from an IQAC, what is the outcome? The outcome means we have delivered the content up to some extent. Okay, then what is the outcome? The outcome is you enriched with some knowledge. Then what we need to be do? You need to be implement these things in your day-to-day activities. That is in your curriculum, class delivery or somewhere else. That is how we need to be linked. If you have attended some workshop somewhere else outside, or if a student attended some internship outside, so attending is not the matter. First, we should understand what is the final outcome and output. That is what we should understand. So if they have attended some internship, 8 weeks internship in the summer, so maybe they learned or they developed something. Now, how that can be extended for the further process? This may be helpful for in their job placement process. So those things we need to be documented properly. Everything we need to be documented properly. So listening these workshops is not sufficient. The outcome should be converted into the proper outcome. So that is what this shifting from the pedagogy to the productivity. So let's try to understand the future of education. So the future means not the future, what exactly we are in the current. So the main thing is technology alone cannot transform the education. We cannot completely depend upon the technology. Definitely whatever the skills we have, I have maybe one kind of a skill, he is having some distinct skills. Everybody having his own distinct skills. So we should combine our skills with the technology so that we can enable with the better productivity from the students. So meaningful transformation occurs when sound pedagogy is strengthened by intelligent tools. Everybody has its own potential. If I go to class, my way of teaching is different. If Sir is going to his class, Sir's way of teaching is different. Similarly, everybody's way of teaching is different. We cannot expect everybody should teach uniform. That is completely wrong for my individual perspective. Maybe we can design our teaching plan, okay, because we need to be confined with the 45 hours or 45 to 60 hours. But the thing is, how we are going to be present the content to the student, that is completely depends on the faculty and what pedagogies they have chosen. Maybe sometime I can start with the unit 1. Maybe some faculty they can start with the unit 2. These are help perspective that is important before starting the unit 1. In some cases, maybe because the complete syllabus is not actually designed by us, up to now we have taken from the JET. So at that time, that justification is only going to be given by that particular faculty, like how we are mapping our COPs. If a subject is given to me, COP mapping, my perspective is different. If the same subject is given to the some other faculty, the COP mapping is different. So in my perspective, I am going to be justified. In our perspective, they are going to be justified. So there is no thumb rule this way we should follow, but we should follow some procedures. Okay, so a pedagogy plus technology equal to transformation. So when we want to be transfer the student completely, in the today's era. So definitely a pedagogy, because the pedagogy maybe generally people are taking very light, because the pedagogy where every class, knowingly or unknowingly, we are using some sort of pedagogy, but we are not recording. We are not identifying that okay, this kind of a pedagogy I have followed. So definitely pedagogy is going to be playing an important role how we are teaching, and technology definitely which are add-on for assessing your pedagogy. So finally you are going to be transform the students. So why teaching must evolve? Because there is a shifting paradigm. So earlier in the traditional everything is the teacher centric. What do you mean by teacher centric? Teacher centric means teacher is the main source. So whatever teacher deliver, so that is the students thinks that is the genuine and that is correct. Because at that time there is no maybe some 15 to 20 years back. Okay. So similarly information delivery. So whatever the teacher delivers, that is the final. Only people used to be go to some libraries where they can find some good amount of the books so that they can verify the content. So it is something like a complete one-way communication and a memorization, as we know, a rote memorization by heart in the content instead of understanding actually what is happened, because mostly it is happened. And similarly, one important pedagogy they use role in the chalk and talk. So earlier, only people used to be deliver with the help of the chalk and talk. So whatever the blackboard teaching we have performed till date, and nowadays also again we are performing at many engineering colleges. The thing is only that is only the one pedagogy we have used, and followed by the one-way communication, and assessment is only final examinations. Maybe some one or two midterm examinations are there. So that will be transformed into the nowadays. What is happening here is everything is shifting from the teacher centric to the learner centric. So earlier days, the teachers may not be understanding of the students, but here now, in the current generation, we should understanding the learners, who are our target audience, And for preparing for these PPT slides also, I have think because it is not going to be delivered for the one department, I am going to be delivering for the multiple departments, starting from the basic science to the MBA. So technical, non-technical mix of people are there. So we should cater our delivery to all sort of people which are there in the class. So definitely there will be a slow learners, average learners, fast learners. So we should cater whatever the content we are delivering, it should be catered to all the people. We cannot satisfy all the people at a time. So definitely it is not at all possible in any case, unless until something, even if you take the IITs also. So maybe they may get ranked below hundreds and all, but we know how the intermediate education system is there. So if you want to be catering for all the things, means that is different. There will be a separate institute for that. They are going to assess. The assessment patterns are also different. And everything is over here is the learning centric. And other important point is that instead of the information delivery, we create a knowledge construction. Not only simply delivering the content, we should create a knowledge base among the students. So their brains are nothing like a database. Instead of keeping just simply inserting data, dumping our data directly into the brains, while you are dumping the particular data. So the knowledge process we need to be properly created among the students. And similarly, the critical thinking. So nowadays, it is one of the important 21st century skill set, the critical thinking. So we have discussed RP, higher order levels, analyze, evaluate, create. So we should make students to think in that direction. ఒక స్టూడెంట్ కి ఆ వేలో మనం థింక్ చేయాలంటే ఫస్ట్ we should think in that line. That means in such a way that we need to be formulate a problem, in such a way that we need to be formulate a case scenario, we need to be create a project problem statement so that the student is able to be think in that direction. If you are failed to be provide such kind of a direction, how could you expect a student can think in that particular line? So that is why this is also one of the important parameter where we are supposed to be provide to the students. And next one is the interactive learning. Earlier it is only one-way communication. Now definitely which is an interactive communication. Even at the school ages also. Earlier in the schools also the teachers are not going to be communicate with the students. But simply they tell and leave. Now, even many of the institutions came into the picture, private institutions, not the school. So they are very much interactive. If you are taking, even one of my child is taking one online classes, I'm not naming it. So they are very much interactive. Something like even they are handling over the 200 students in a single session. Okay, they are teaching only for the 10 minutes. A class, assuming that which is a 45 minutes, so they are teaching only for the 10 minutes. So after that, they are giving the poll to test the student whether the student is live or not. That means whether it into or. Okay, then followed by a questionnaires are going to be released for an interactive, some 10 minutes of the time. Then from that, in continuation, they are going to start with the class for the another 10 minutes. So likewise, 10, 10, 10, 30 minutes they are going to be teach, and then 15 minutes they are interacting with the students. So 30 minutes they are not continuously teaching. So only 10 minutes interact, 10 minutes teaching, interact, 10 minutes teaching, interact. So this is the kind of to make everyone attentive. So definitely it may not be 100%, but definitely 80 to 85% of the students are attentive and they are interactive with it, as I am saying. Personally, I am seeing this particular strategy. So this is one kind of a pedagogical approach to make student interact. So ultimately, we should deliver the content to the students properly. So that is the one of the important aspect, and finally the collaboration and continuous assessment. So we should make habituate of the students collaborate daily with their peers. So generally people are not going to be interact with the students. People are hesitant to interact with the students. So for example, assuming that I am a good student in the sense I am getting the good marks. If I interact with my fellow friend, so that he is also getting the good marks. So the thing is, first we should make habituate that if you share our knowledge, so that obviously the knowledge is going to be increased. సో చాలా మంది అనుకుంటారు వీడు నేను చెప్పేస్తే నాకు మార్కులు తగ్గిపోతాయి లేకపోతే వాడికి ఫస్ట్ వచ్చేస్తుంది డెఫినెట్లీ దట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ ఇంటరాక్టివ్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దట్ దే ఆర్ హైడింగ్ దేర్ నాలెడ్జ్ సో డెఫినెట్లీ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద నాలెడ్జ్ we have if we can deliver properly that will automatically memorize in our brain without reading the contents. I personally habituated at the area of my teaching career. I teach the content on the board. If a student is asked continuously, then automatically I am able to be remember the particular contents instead of practicing every day before I go to the class. If the student is unable to be asked any questions to us, so definitely the next semester again next time the same subject even though you are daily, you should refer the content. It is also one kind of a collaboration. We go to the students, we should ask whether they are having any kind of a doubt. Even though they don't have the doubt, we should explain one more time to them. So at the area of my career, I practice these things. So this is one of the good practice from my personal experience. And definitely the next important point is the continuous assessment. So earlier only one exam is there. Now we have the several kinds of an assessments. Assessment not only by the exam, we should take the feedbacks, we should conduct some kind of the poll, we should conduct some kind of a group discussions. Anything that going to be produce the proper output, so that we can be considered as a continuous assessment. So these are the different things we should understanding in the current day scenario. So traditional and modern classrooms, as we have already discussed these things. So traditional classrooms, the faculty talks, passive learners, notebook based learning only. Simply people are used to be write the content and the fixed assessments, knowledge transfer and limited real world connection. So this is shifted to the current day scenario. What is happening here is students participate actively, assume that, and active learners, conceptual and applied learning, continuous assessment, collaboration, and real world syllabus. So these are the important parameters. What teaching approach you are following every day, and similarly, what are the learners' roles in your classroom? We should assess all these things. What are the learner's role and what is your focus concept for that particular class? Okay, and similarly, what are the assessment strategy, not for the entire semester or for the mid examination, for that class, what is your assessment strategy? And similarly, how you are communicating with the students, whether this is only the one-way communication or the two-way communication, and finally, what is the outcome of that particular session or the class? So every day we should assess these particular concepts. For every class we go, we should clearly focus on these things. Definitely, the quality of the teaching definitely improves. So it is a life cycle process, continuous process. There is no one end that okay, I am professor, my quality is good. Definitely not. That is changes from the subject which I have taken. If I am dealing the same subject from the past 20 years, that is the different. If I am taking the new subject, whether it is the assistant professor or associate or professor, whatever the role and whatever the experience we have, you should understand the context of that particular subject. You should understand the learner's perspective. Otherwise, we cannot deliver properly. So that is why it is always a continuous process, a life cycle. Okay. So this is the basic differences between the traditional and modern classroom. So why the traditional methods are not sufficient for the modern day generation. So these are the learners centric perspective. So one important aspect here is reduced attention span. As earlier the principals are also told in the induction meeting. So the focus for the current generation people is only less than 5 minutes because of the due to the digital gadgets. So how that is why I am trying to say it. One online platform they are teaching only the 10 minutes per student. After that they are engaging with the students, then they start. That is really practically going on in the current day scenario. Okay, so then mobile first generation definitely nowadays kids, these Gen Zs everyone are the mobile first kids. We are not aware of the mobile phones and all, but these people, whatever the people, students are coming, the children are the mobile first generation, they are always engaged with the mobiles. Always, that means always they reduce their concentration levels. And the AI assisted learning. So this is also one of the important things. They are not expecting something we deliver, they are not expecting that from us, they are learning the things. Whether you provide the content or not, maybe sometime you observe it not. I'm not naming anyone, I'm not naming any college. If you go to the regularly to one class, we teach, we will get some X percentage. If some teacher is not going regularly, okay, maybe due to some constraints, okay, they are going to get some good, definitely good percentage. In my 15 to 20 years of career, I have seen these many cases, especially in the last 5 years. Why? Because earlier the materials may not be available. How to study, they don't know. Now everything is AI based, that means AI assistance. They are asking the question, they are giving simply the syllabus to the chat GPT or something, Gemini. They are asking some important questions, it is giving it, then it is analyzing it, and even it is giving the answer in a simpler way. So earlier they need to be referred some all-in-ones or some other textbooks. Of course, standard textbooks they may not be referred. Quickly some other publishers' textbooks. So now it is clearly giving what we have to be right. So they are studying some few important concepts. Obviously, whatever the question comes, if the particular keyword is there in the particular question, So they will write it. Nowadays the valuation is also something like that only. So maybe okay, it is somewhat relevant. We can give the marks or the marks. So this particular AI assisted learning is some kind of a very dangerous thing to the student. But anyhow, which is required. They are also adaptive, they are also understanding this AI assisted thing. So what we need to be do is we should also adopt this AI assisted platforms. We should not completely about these platforms nowadays. So earlier I used to for the social networking platform or it is very for me very long time to adopt for the Facebook. I like the output very much at that time. Okay, during the 2004, 2005, and after that the Facebook is also there, but I haven't adopted. But it is very technologically advanced platform compared to the okay. So what happened is when the output is trying to be closed in platform, maybe around the 2008 to 12 in between that duration. So I slowly migrated to the Facebook. Why? Because we should understand what kind of a technology, how it is actually processed. Because earlier, in the output, what is happening is if you click, it will go to the some other page. If you scrap it, you submit, it will show you the process submitting. That means it will take some time lag. Everything is doing in that way. But what happened in the Facebook is, without there will be a no refresh if you can observe. Now automatically it keeps on update. That is the technological transformation. Nowadays, you can see the cricket scores. So you need not to go to the some other page. You just open, automatically it keeps on updating. It refresh the content, it keeps on updating. So that is the technological transformation. So we should understand how this transformation is happening. We should adopt these learning techniques. So this is one of the important things, and definitely industry skill gaps. Nowadays, the students are not understanding the curriculum, and everybody, of course, people are saying about the industry and academia skill gaps. So no university, no college are going to be fill this particular gap. So the same thing, if the student is passed out the 2026, okay. So till date, the particular person is studied in our college. After 1 year, if we call that particular person for some kind of a guest or something like that, the same person is going to be tell us, and they are going to be teachers. Okay, there is a gap. There is a huge gap outside the industry. Up to last year, the person is studying here. Okay, whatever we thought, he learned. Based on that, he got the placement, and now the person come to our college and telling that there is a gap at the industry. So we should fill that gap. What is the gap? Nobody will tell that gap. Nobody will tell that gap. What is that gap? If you take Infosys, their requirement is different. If you take Infosys, their requirement is different. If you take some Morgan Stanley, their requirement is different. Then how to fill the gap? I'm not commenting next wave NIIT is running in our campus. For CSC, CSM and CSD, one set of people are taking the classes through the NIIT. Their requirement is different. So anyhow, we are aligning the content with that particular NIIT. Their MOUs, their placement strategies with the placement companies are different. I am strongly against for this industry gap, the industry people coming and saying to the universities, maybe okay, we can reduce up to some extent. Definitely there is a gap. IBM, their skill set, their requirement is different. Every company's requirement is different. Then how can we fulfill all the industry requirements? That is absolutely not right. Somebody earlier IBM required mainframe, COBOL. TCS required maybe based on the data science or some other tools. Some other company requires cyber security based. Some other company requires they required around with the technology with some electrical and electrical communication scenarios. So engineering is sort of a kind of where we provide all the kind of a knowledge So based on that, so that is why masters are there. That is why PhD is there. So we provide basic undergraduate skill set. From that, how the student needs to be transformed in the next process. So that is my individual perspective. So we should make the students definitely to compete with the global scenario, not the local scenario. Earlier, we should think about only in this mandal or the district. Now we should, after that, we should talk about the state. After that, we should talk about the region, south region, north region. After that, we should talk about the country. Now, definitely, we should talk about the global perspective, at least an Asian perspective. We should understand the education system in India, Singapore, Malaysia, China, Hong Kong, Japan. So at least we should understand in these scenarios, we should study, we should go through the particular materials. So at least we should listen those lectures definitely available in the YouTube. So definitely we should if we can teach in this particular perspective, definitely we are able to be our students can able to be cope up with the world scenario, global perspective scenario. So outcome-based education requirements already discussed, diverse learners attributes, followed by the need for the higher order thinking skills and global competition. So these are all many things are missing for the current day generation. So that is why the shift of the teaching pedagogies are very much essential. So the modern teaching pedagogies. So here I am going to discuss about the two teaching pedagogies, modern and innovation. Innovative. So this modern and innovative, sometimes alternatively we can use it, we can mix it in some scenarios, but the thing is how we are assessing that particular content or how we are assessing the learners. Depends upon that either it will be fell in the modern or it will be fell in the innovative pedagogies. So these are the 6 important pedagogies we have already discussed earlier in the session 1. So one is the active learning, flipped classrooms, problem-based learning, project-based learning, collaborative and case-based learning. So here, what do you mean by the active learning? What is an active learning? Here I will go with the examples. So I have taken one example where a subject name called the cyber security. Okay, so here we should understand these scenarios. Active learning. So here in this particular active learning, there will be several kinds of strategies. Something like the think, page, share, concept mapping, minute paper, classroom codes. The name itself it is clearly resembling active. We should make our students activate in the classroom instead of sleeping in the classroom or chit-chatting with the friends. Okay, so here there will be several things. Think, page, shape. What do you mean by think, page, shape? What is the think, page, shape? So you give one topic to the students, some sort of a problem. Okay, so give you 2 minutes of the time. They will think on it. Ask them to pay. So pay in the sense maybe you can divide as a same bench. In the bench 3 to 4 people are there. So ask them to discuss among themselves and then they are going to be present on that particular topic. It's a simple scenario. Think, pay, share. First, give a time for the thinking, ask them to pay for the discussion, and then share the knowledge to the peers. Peers means ourselves. The same way, we can give the concept mapping. The concept mapping is also one of the important strategy for the active learning. So, you already discussed one concept in the classroom. Okay, so you give the central concept. You think that this is the concept, important concept. So from this concept, different multiple concepts are framed. So you ask the students to frame that particular multiple concepts. Something like a tree. Okay, so they should understand the central concept, then what will be the branches, so what will be the sub branches, what are the leaves. So from the central concept, how the other concepts are formulated and how those are actually connected. So these are not a big activities, these are only the small activities, give a 5 minutes of the time So you randomly pick some students for the thinking for the some time, so they can come and explain. So this is the second concept, and these are all the branches for this concept. So likewise, minute paper also something like that. They need to be write something on the paper for the 2 minutes. You give some topic and within a short period of 1 minute or 2 minutes, they are able to be writing and you collect the content. So here we are talking about the digital era. Instead of writing the content on the paper, you float some kind of a Google form. Nothing is there. Only one question, a box. So you give only 1 minute. After delivering the class for the 30 minutes, so at the end you just give that a simple go float the Google form and you wait for some 1 minute only. They will write the content and they submit. So based on that, we can assess okay how far maybe at least some half of the class they will give the expected answers so that you can assess okay the students have got the content. Similarly, the classroom polls. Classroom polls means you need not to be share any kind of a tools and all. So while everybody is delivering the PPT, okay, mostly delivering the PPT. So the next slide you design one slide for the first previous 5 slides. I delivered 5 slides. After that, in the between, I have framed a poll slide. So obviously, people definitely 50%, more than 50% of people will be reactivated every time if you can ask like this. Maybe most of the people during the Corona time, COVID time, those who are experienced with this particular online learning. So during the lecture hours, we have used several poll tools. So to make the understanding the student activities. So that is the one kind of that is the active learning, and the next one is the flipped class. So this is one of the important pedagogy which we should understand in the student aspects, learner-centric aspect, flipped classroom. So that means, so one topic which we have not delivered, but the thing is, you provide the material related to that either through the LMS, that might be a videos or that might be a PPT. So here I have taken one example based on this particular cryptography. So I asked a student to be watch some video. Okay, something like that SQL injection. The topic I have not delivered, but the thing is, I asked the student to be watch that video. The video is maybe created by the teacher, or you can get some video, or you provide it to the student. So the students watch it before coming to the class. They understood the concept. So what exactly this particular SQL injection is? Okay, then what happens is during the class, when I entered into the class, now what? I asked the student to be perform one activity based on the topic they learn. Okay, what I am going to be do is I provide one website. Okay, I ask the students to crack into that particular website by using the SQL injection technique. So just for explanation and SQL injection technique is something like bypassing the login. Bypassing the login. Generally we use the username and password and submit button, right? So how the hackers are going to be doing is by using one technique. This is the SQL injection technique. With the technique they bypass into the database. When you have designed a big database. So there are some websites to practice these kind of things. So first I should provide the content to the student. So that means simply I am flipping the scenario. The students are able to be understand, analyze, and they are able to be perform the task. So that is where this particular flipped classroom is comes into the picture. This is one of the important strategy. And the next one is the problem-based learning. So here the problem-based learning over here is, so you give one problem to the student. Maybe after 15 minutes delivering of the class, okay, so you provide some sort of a problem, okay, something like that. The learner is going to be deals with the some real world scenario. So what is the necessity of the giving the problem is, so they should understand, they should what exactly is how the student is supposed to be think when there is some problem is up. So I have given some problem to the student. Okay, some scenario I have given. So I presented some problem. something like that, then the student is going to be immediate step is they are trying to be analyze that particular problem. The first step the student must do is they are trying to be analyzed. That means they are trying to be understand that particular problem. Then they perform the research. Okay, what are the various kinds of the problems are there? Okay, then what sort of solution we can provide it and how to tackle that particular problem in the different cases. One student come up with one solution, another student can come up with another solution like this. So we can make habituate the students. So this kind of a problem statement is also part of the collaborative learning. Individually they can analyze, individually they can do research, individually they can perform the solution. And likewise, similarly, they can collaborate as a team, they can do this particular process. And the next one is the project-based learning. So what is this project-based learning? The same way like how we have given the topic, that means the concept we have already explained to the students. The thing is, the problem is also we have given, assume that now the thing is, they need to recreate one final output. As something like a mini project. Assuming that, one example I am telling that in the networks, maybe we can teach the computer networks, a simple scenario. Something like that, there is a big organization, it is a network engineer. So there is a big organization like this is there. They call the management, call the network engineer, asked to establish the one computer center. Okay, so what the network engineer is supposed to be doing is, for example, there will be 100 systems that need to be established. So how they are going to be established? What kind of a topology? Because if you take in our every computer lab, every computer is connected, right? Through lab. So simply we are not connecting it, we are performing by using the some topological technique. There is a computer networks, there are the different kinds of a topology. So ఏ topology యూజ్ చేస్తే బెటర్ నెట్వర్క్ మనకి ఎఫిషియెంట్ నెట్వర్క్ వస్తుంది, ఎఫిషియెంట్ గా కమ్యూనికేట్ చేయగలం. ఇన్ కేస్ మధ్యలో ఒక సిస్టమ్ కనెక్షన్ డ్రాప్ అయితే అదర్ సిస్టమ్స్ కి అది ఇంపాక్ట్ ఉంటుందా లేదా. ఓకే, హౌ ఎఫిషియెంట్లీ we can share our files among the network. So there will be several topology, mesh topology, bus topology, ring topology, star topology. So what the students are supposed to be doing is there are several tools are available. Something like the network simulated tool is available. So that in the network simulated tool they can take the 100 nodes and they connect with the different testing strategies and they are getting the results. So out of it they can say, okay sir, if you can take this particular topology, it is going to be give the better outcome. So that we can suggest this topology. So this is a kind of a mini problem. Maybe we can time for 1 day or 2 days so that the students can think and they can develop this kind of a problems. So on the topic, we have not the entire subject I am saying. On the topic, we have given maybe definitely in every unit or maybe the 2 units or 3 units, you are getting some one topic that we can convert into the application. So that kind of an experiment we should design accordingly. Maybe from the starting from the SNH to the MBA. MBA means mostly we can go for the case studies. So these kind of the things we should give it, and collaborative learning as we have discussed. So it is a part of the group discussion, peer teaching, team building, okay, and the jigsaw methods. So these are the jigsaw methods are nothing but like we divide the things into the group, people into the groups, and we assign the task to them. Something like how we have done for the remaining one also. So that is one of the method which is introduced in the 1971 jigsaw method. And similarly, the last one is the case study learning. So case study learning is the real world based learning. Case study learning is the real world based learning. So you take one case, real time case. So now you give it to the student and ask them to analyze. So how the student are going to be come up with the solutions. Problem based learning is different, case based learning is different. Problem based learning is only the problem we are giving, they are trying to be analyzed. Here we are giving the entire case, take something like a case study. So you need to be formulate a proper case study to the student. so that they are going to be group it, they are trying to be identify the issues, if it is issues are there, okay, so then they are trying to be using the concepts which you have already discussed, so then they are trying to be find the solutions. Something like that, if there is some hacking is happened at some other organization. Earlier back in the 2008 under the Sony PlayStation, there is a big hack that has happened. Around some millions of the records are stolen. So in the internet, these kind of case studies are available. And similarly, take the recent case study on our Canva elements and the Australian based elements. So all the free teacher accounts are freeze. Freeze means, so one hacking group is I think I forgot the name. So they have targeted only the free Canva student account, free Canva teacher account, not the paid one, only free Canva teacher account. So they have taken the entire data. They have taken the entire data. All of them. So after 1 week of that time, these Canva people are negotiated with that particular ransomware company, and they negotiated, and they are saying that they are giving the data. They come for the agreement like how the US and Iran are paying for the agreement. But after that, anyhow, the finally what happened is the Canva is completely blocked for the free Canva teacher account. So that kind of a scenario given to the student. They analyze it. Here I am talking as it belongs to the comparisons, I am talking related to them. So likewise, we take the scenarios in your chosen fields. So definitely that people are able to be understand these scenarios. So next one is the innovative teaching pedagogies. So innovative. So here we should understand the basic difference modern and innovative. Actually, we are using the modern. Nowadays, we are in the era of the modern only. But how to transform into the innovative? So here, the same flipped classroom we can convert it into the innovative. The same problem is we can convert it into the innovative. But the thing is, we should understand that term. It is a very dangerous term, innovative. In the last MBA also, the MBA team people are questioned that because we kept as the name innovative. What innovative you have done? The same flipped classroom or beanbag approach or some other approaches, then where is the innovation? So we should be very careful while formulating or while talking about the term called the innovation. Something like that, I will tell the simple scenario. For example, civil is there or mechanical is there. Okay, so you want to be experience the plant. Someone, if you want to be showing show of the power plant. Okay, and if you want to be show the some machinery internal parts, then what you are going to be doing is instead of showing the video, okay, maybe here it is not available, maybe in some big universities there is a concept called the AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality. Okay, so with that AR glasses, what we feel that we are in that particular construction site and we are moving here, maybe in the gates at CMR Central or somewhere we are seeing that AV glasses. So we feel that we are in that particular location, we are experiencing that particular place actually. So such kind of learning experience we are supposed to be giving to the student. So if you are not going to be provide such a scenario, so there is a concept called the virtual augmented reality. So the same kind of an augmentation you can show it in the video process. So we can move step by step. So we generally the student should feel that we are in that particular place. And there are a lot of websites, especially for the mechanical. If you want to be show some kind of an engine parts, or if you want to be show some flight components or some other things. So everything virtually they are showing. So such kind of an innovative techniques, anything if we are using or make use in our modern pedagogy, then only we can term it as the innovative. Almost the contents are same, maybe the technologies might be some different, outcome based, experience, inquiry based, design or gamification. So what innovation you have done, what innovative method you follow compared with the other colleges. which are already existed. So something like if you can take the gamification. So gamification means, for example, those who are actually teaching the programming related subject. So how we are going to be assessed instead of asking the quizzes and all, what we do, we have to be design some sort of portal for competition portal, or there are already available portals are there, something like the hackathon or hacker. So we ask them the student, so by that time you give one problem, give us some 5 minutes or the 10 minutes of the time, so that they are able to be perform that particular task. So instead of showing the result, we are going to be give some sort of the badges. Okay, we are going to be get some sort of the leaderboard results, so that people are going to be activated. At some point of time, maybe I am getting the some 30th rank or 40th rank. Okay, by doing all this kind of an activity, some point of time I want to be going to the top 10 or top 1. So it is something like a playing games. And also designing the question is not like a simple coding. We should design with some kits. For example, if you go to the some hotel, so if you have agent with some food and this is the bill and what will be the cost of this, so that they are able to be writing in the Python or some other program. So likewise, the scenario we need to be given. So similarly, all these things, design thinking. So you give some problem so that the people, the students are able to be understand the what we are supposed to be do. So nowadays these AI tools are available everywhere. Okay, everybody are using. Am I right or not? Everybody are using. Okay. So if I ask you to be develop a website, for example, I have given one problem to the website. Develop a one website. Okay. The website consisting of the some pages along with the some database. The same thing I have given to the some mechanical faculty. The same thing I have given to the some CSE faculty or civil engineering faculty or some other faculty. Everybody know it of learning of the code right nowadays. So can everyone is able to be build the same one? Obviously, no. Even though if you are not going to be write the code, we should understand the scenario. So that is why architects, that may not be any architect, civil architect or the computer architect or the mechanical architect, this particular architect is playing the important role. Everybody constructed, but how to construct? What are the constraints? How to perform this construction process? Where to stop? Where to start? These things should properly be aligned. So that is where this design thinking is very, very essential in building of the any product. Here I am not talking software building of the any product, especially we teach software engineering. We give more example related to the civil engineering examples. Constructing of the house. If you know the constructing of the house, what is the process and all? The same we can relevant to the software engineering, which is also linked to the supply chain management of the MBA. So all these are the interlinks. We should understand these interdisciplinary concepts. Okay, so these are all the few innovative methodologies. Outcome-based education. We know what you mean by outcome-based education. So what we are supposed to be perform under this outcome-based education? What we are supposed to be perform? So here, one topic I have discussed in that particular unit. What is the CO? Example. This is one example. A CO is student is able to be analyze threats, design security control for system. This is my CO for my unit. Now, after delivering either 9 lectures or 8 lectures, what should I assess is, so what are the activities I have performed related to my unit? So the activity is something like, so vulnerability assessment lab, case studies and mini projects. So that means which I have planned actually. These activities I have planned. And what are the assessments? The assessments like maybe the flipped classroom, the assessment might be using the jigsaw method or the problem based learning or the project based learning or the case based learning, anything. So once you have analyzed these things, so that means for every CO, for every class, if you are able to be finding out what activity we should perform, and what assessment strategies we should perform. So definitely you are going to be achieve the proper pedagogy. Definitely we are able to be achieve this particular rule. So don't think that at the end of the course only you are able to be achieve this thing. For every class, we should understand it. If every class we should achieve these particular things. So in such a way that plan your 50 minutes like 50 minutes is not only for the entire teaching, 50 minutes we need to be engage the student. That is the teacher primary objective. We should engage the student in the learner centric environment. Okay, so this is the one of the important pedagogy which we have learned, and this one, as I said, experiential learning. Nowadays, I said, I think in the next session I'm going to be talk about these tools. Experiential learning. Why I asked you to bring the laptop instead of seeing this slide? So whatever the prompt I am giving, the same way parallelly, if you are experiencing the particular content, automatically the student is able to be understand what is happening. If I write the code on the board, or if I write some code on the this particular thing, maybe after 3 days or the 4 days, if it is a lab related subject, they go and they practice. Otherwise, simply the students see that it will happen. So that is why now every classroom is comes with an experiential learning type of a learning. Something like we cannot experiment with SAR like maths, physics, and chemistry. We can't do experiments over here, but it is in the core engineering related. Everything is computerized, right? So it is if you are able to be, it is one task if you have planned like that. So that students are able to be design a mini prototype, or maybe they can experience by doing. Experience by doing. This is one of the important steps. So that is why this is also one is comes under the innovative teaching methodology. So these are the few things which are there for the innovative teaching methodology. One is the outcome based, experiential learning, inquiry based design thinking, and gamification. So the levels of pedagogical practices. So generally, how we should shift all these practices in the classroom environment. So first we should focus on the activate the learners. Here I have classified into the three ways. One is activating. So then we need to be shifted into the application oriented. Then we need to be shifted into the transformative pedagogy. So first we should activate the learners. How to activate the learners? We need to be engaging the learners. So by applying several pedagogies like active learning, collaborative learning, flipped classrooms, think page and case-based learning. So these are all nothing but at an interactive levels, at 5 minutes or the 10 minutes of the duration, we are making the students engaged. That is our first step. We need to be make the student engagement. Then what we need to be do is we need to be go for the application. Okay, we have the confidence that our students are properly engaging. That is our first primary motive. So then we shifted to the application oriented pedagogy. So simply you can increase your complexity of your pedagogical approach. Okay, so there you can apply the project based learning, problem based, experiential learning, inquiry based learning. So you give some sort of a problem, ask them to do. So it is required one complete class maybe, or maybe the one day. Okay, so that they are able to perform that particular task and they will come back to you. And the last one is the transformative pedagogy. So transformative pedagogy means, so here we can see, first we need to be engaged initially, then we need to be applied, so then we need to be create. So this is where the create, innovate, impact, all these things comes under the transformative pedagogy. See, whatever the task we have done, so that will be have a societal impact. In such a way that we need to be make our students should understand. That is why people are going for the community service project. Earlier community service project scenario is different. Just asking, getting their problems and knowing, getting the feedback. No. If you one mechanical student will go, they should understand related to the problems, related to the how it is going to be helpful. The mechanical engineer skill, computer science skill, communication skills, electrical skills, all together, how they are able to be transform the problem into the solution. That is the impact. So whatever the learners learn by using the first two, engage and apply, so they are making an impact, innovate and impact on the societal problems. So these are the three levels of the pedagogical practices. So now a shift to the AI. So why I have discussed all these things means, first we should, without understanding the pedagogies, whatever the pedagogy you take, okay, that AI is going to give some data. So whether this data is correct or not, how could you ensure? Always it is going to be right some discipline or the below any tool you take. It is just a suggestion or something like that. It is not 100% accurate. In the early day of the chart GPT, I have tested completely on the chart GPT back in 2020 or 21. The same research paper, whatever the paper which I have published during my PhD, I have given to the chart GPT, asked me to give the methods which I have discussed in that paper. It is given the methods which I have not discussed. Whatever the methods I have discussed, not a single method it is given. It is given some different methods which are not there at all in the paper. Many people nowadays are doing this kind of a research. Trusting this AI, maybe it is improved now anyhow. There are a lot of iterations are happening. But the thing is, if you are unaware of the content, if you are unaware of the process, definitely we will be caught at something. That will be a greater problem. So, how this particular AI is going to be helpful? I am saying helpful, not a complete replace. So, the shift first we should understand traditional teaching to the digital learning. What is digital learning? We use PPTs, ICT based learning. Okay, so then now we shift to the AI augmented learning. So that means we are taking the help of the AI for better understanding for the both the faculty and the student for better design. So what we are going to be doing and what things we are supposed to be focused here is, so general faculty works are just student. There are not many works are there. Something like we can use the preparing for the lesson plans, PPTs, question banks, rubrics, assignments, student feedback analysis, research writing, COPO mapping. So these are the things generally we use and how this particular AI is support for this particular task. So something like that lesson plan, it is going to be generated. Here we should understand the keywords also properly. So it generates the lesson plan, creates the PPT, prepares the question bank, generates the assignment, automates the student feedback analysis, assists the research writing, support for the COPO map. So is it right? COPO mapping, if your HOD is asked to be doing for your subject, so it is generated and it will give you. Okay, but when a committee visit, you should explain why this particular mapping is done. Why this 3, why this 2, why this 1. So you are in a position that you are able to be answer, you are able to be justify that particular. Maybe it is going to be give you, it reduces your work, but not 100%. It has given some template to you. It has given some process. So that you can take it and then you need to be changed accordingly your knowledge. So you know your subject very well than this particular area. So it is only a helping hand for giving the all the formats or the content to you so that you can reduce it. So one help after taking my charge as a lead IPSC, the first immediate task what I have received is the preparing of the institute academic calendar. Up to last 5 years, Dr. Sudhar sir has doing this particular one. So this time, as I am taking the charge, I have given this particular book. So this is a very hectic process. That is a very hectic process. So the control of examinations along with the dean academics are prepared the academic calendars. Academic calendars means for the semester ones. Seventh semester, fifth semester, third semester. They have given. So, what is the class work duration? What is the registration period? Mean? So, all these different parameters are there. So, third semester, fourth semester, fifth semester, sixth semester, seventh and eighth. So, everything has the table of forms. And also, sir has given the dates for the holidays. Now, I have a doubt that how to circulate these things to the all the HODs. So, in order to be searching every day, that means the every opening all these 5 documents, what I have done is I have given all these documents to the prompt and create one single document date wise so that it will be listed everything date wise. So automatically by seeing only this single document so that the HODs are going to be plan their activities. So instead of opening all these 5, so what I have done is I have created one document. But what happened is it is not done in a single iteration. It has left many meals. If I trust the AI and the same meal will be circulated, obviously the head is okay. This is the document is provided by me. So they have considered that particular document and maybe in the holidays or maybe in the examination process also they have planned some kind of an activity. So definitely there will be a cross verification must be done. I have asked one thing. So please check one more time. The same way I have asked you, please check one more time. Immediately what it said is my apologies. I have left these things. So how I have conversation with my friend, the same way I am talking with this particular tool. Anyhow, it is understand. So that means this is one case and why I am telling is so we cannot 100% rely on this particular AI based tools even though how much it is accessible. Okay, so these are the things we should follow. So now in the next session after the break we are going to be the main aspect over here is I need to be understand not completely deliberating on the tools as I said in the previous day, but any tool you take how better prompt you can give it to the particular AI that is required. How efficiently you can communicate with the AI system. So if you properly communicate, it is going to be give you the answer. So here we need to be understanding of this particular concept called the prompt engineering. So that we can understanding of what are the different types of the prompts are available so that better communicate with the AI, any AI, and how to improve the AI output, and then what are the different real-time use cases. I will show you some examples and writing the different prompts. So these are the things we are going to be covered in the next session. Okay, so that by that time you can practice what are the things which I am going to be there. I will share the different prompts in the group also. So accordingly you can practice those prompts. Maybe some of you are aware of it, but definitely I can say one important statement I want to say here is the prompt is nothing like art and science of crafting inputs. So definitely it is an art. Everybody having the data means different kinds of AI tools. If data is here in the sense, I am having mobile, I am having laptop, everything is there with me. If it is an internet connected. But the thing is, how efficiently we can use it. That means this is definitely an art. If you have given the paint brushes and all, everybody make the painters, right? Good painters. It is an art and it is a science of how beautifully you can formulate your prompt so that it is going to give you the better prompt. So with this statement, I conclude my session 1 and after 10 minutes of the break, we will assemble here and then we will continue with this particular AI. Thank you.
Source marks. ये HDMI